Hello, everyone. My name is Clancy, and welcome back to the weekly recruit pre. Why does it say pre-draft on my screen? I'll fix that in a second. Anyways, uh, with me, I have my host as usual, Noah,
What's up, What's up?
Milky,
Yo,
uh, Enders,
espresso.
and our guest today is Dewey Fan.
Hello,
Doing? How you doing? How we doing?
I'm pretty good. I have a sore throat.
Yeah, from
Rip.
all the W's you've been taking in, Dewey.
No, I think it's just like I'm like sick or like I don't even
Oh,
know.
So
hit
Yeah.
it with
weird.
the dry answer.
Mhm.
Well, how are the games tonight, boys?
Terrible. I don't want to talk about it.
They're pretty good.
Well, you know what, Enders, it is still preseason, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of things can change as teams are making cuts, things like that. There are,
hmm
I think there's what, 3 or 4 teams that have more than 5 players on their recruit roster, which
Yeah.
means that inevitably there will be people that have to be cut.
So we are seeing some cuts right now. Just to go through those. Synthronix has officially been cut from ATL, and OneCon was just cut from Hell. I think we're gonna see a
Oh,
couple other cuts as the night goes on. Now that like the roster isn't being terrible. Like the roster, we still have one more day to get down to 6, which I think we're going to see. Or I still think a lot of teams are going to go into the final preseason with their final 5. You know?
yeah, I do agree with that for sure. I say just looking. Let me see. AP's got 6 still. Um,
Mhm.
Wet still has 6. So I think that, like I said earlier, there's definitely a couple teams that have more than the 6 players. So Neon's another one. So I mean, there's at least probably 4 FAs that are going to change. You know, come preseason match day 3. So it'll be interesting to see what the landscape looks like afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of the games, um, Milky, how was uh how was the Abyss Walkers scrim and match tonight? Who'd you guys play?
Um, First, for the scrim, we played DB and we won that 13-11.
There you go.
And
That's a nail
then,
biter.
Ooh.
yeah, it was a close one. And then we played ATL on Overpass and we beat them 13-2.
You I think. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
13-2.
Well,
hmm
I know Enders, you don't want to talk about it, and that's okay. I respect it. But like I said
No,
earlier,
we can talk about it. It's
well,
me
it
being a
is only
bitch.
well, let me ask then, because this is a good question. Milky,
Hill.
were you guys able to start CT side going into that match?
I don't think we did.
Oh, you started T side.
Yeah,
Yes, they did.
Was there
Well,
controversy?
nope,
What was
well,
No.
like the concern with the sides?
there was no concern.
He was just asking.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was at I was asking only because, Overpass is, kind of known as more of a CT sided map, but I would argue it's more of a T sided map. And I think that your 13-2 probably shows that there, especially when you get momentum on the T side of Overpass. It's pretty hard to take a stop on the CT side, especially with the CT economy in CS2.
hmm
So I'm sure that's probably what happened. I mean, once you string together, 6 or 7
I mean,
rounds.
that helped. I mean, we were on the back foot economy wise the entire game. But I will say it's not a map a lot of Atlantis wants to play,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's gonna. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's
Despite
exactly. Go
despite
ahead.
my love for Overpass, and I will shout it from the fucking rooftops that I love that map more than any other map in the pool, you know, it's a map that not a lot of our players wanted to play. It's not a map that going in that a lot of people are like, yeah, we're gonna fuck them up. It was like, oh god, we're playing Overpass, so
Well,
Well, do
I
you
do.
mind if I ask
yeah.
if you guys weren't comfortable or like didn't want to play it? Couldn't you have banned it?
Well, I was gonna ask. Yeah. Did you
It was
handshake
a handshake.
overpass?
It was a handshake Overpass.
Oh,
I
all
see.
right.
I see. I see.
Well,
Well, I
then
mean, and
that's not
that's
good.
that's what preseason's for, right? Like
Mhm.
learning. and testing the maps. And some teams even like really try to metagame and play maps in preseasons that they'll never touch in season, right? To pull
Mhm.
the scent off of what they're doing.
And
With
also
that
like
being,
kind of what I wanted to say was playing like doo or I mean I
yeah,
don't know how you played specifically, but losing and like kind of getting crushed is like if your team is kind of dedicated to improving, it's way better to do that early on than as you get closer to playoffs.
Yeah.
Like you can figure
absolutely.
shit out.
Better to
Yeah.
get the bad games down now.
And I mean, it's not fun to be crushed the past 2 actual preseason matches, but you got and you win the first 2 scrims, and you're like, yeah.
Oh,
Then you got to
see
play
there you go.
AVI. You got to play AVI and Abyss Walkers, and then it's like AVI is just going to be a fucking shit kicker all season, you know. And then you play ABW on a map that over half the team is like, fuck this map, and that's something I had to talk with Ruby about. Is like, why'd we handshake a map that we know we're not going to play on the season? He's like,
Mhm.
they wanted to play it, and I was like, it's preseason.
I mean, in that case, you want to talk about our scrim earlier, Noah?
I mean, yeah, I mean our scrim, everyone, is thinking that AVI is the giant
Yeah, you
or the
guys
Goliath, but
lost.
we did end up losing our
Yeah, we did
scrim.
lose, 13 to
And
6.
UPS had a really good ancient game. They came to
You
play.
lost to UPS?
Yeah,
We did.
lost to
Cash
UPS.
Come
Money had a
on.
life game. Dewey, I
Come on,
shit you not.
dog.
That guy had a life game. 28-11, I think he was. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think Cash has
He
been
was
in the league for 3
smacking
seasons.
around.
I've
Cash
never
is my
seen him
dog.
kill. I've never seen Cash drop more than 20 kills, and I'm glad that he did it against us because he fucking shit on us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um,
That's your
And you're
problem
glad,
is you don't know
and
about cash.
you're glad
Cash.
about it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad because I haven't seen him perform like that, and like if we can bring that out, then that's good.
I
I'm
went
Well,
into that scrim
I think the
mentally
thing with
different, normal.
I'm a
Mhm.
little upset we lost for sure, right? Because it kind of hits the chip, a little bit like, oh,
Yeah.
like we were coming in pretty, heavy handed and things like that. We kind of just got
Mhm.
our shit sucker punched. But
I think the thing with
exact,
Cash is a lot like baseball in the sense of like Cash had protection in the lineup, so y'all were like, "Oh, Dewey, Conley, Pindy, these guys are gonna beat us." You move Cash up into the star slot or like the 4-hole hitter,
yeah,
and he just goes off and he starts raking.
yeah. I
I
mean,
think that's something we're gonna see.
I will say, I mean, I'm not going to speak, bad against him, but I did hear that he wasn't as successful in his match against that he was in the scrim. So,
Stir the
uh,
pot. Stir
but
the pot.
either way, UPS played a fantastic game, and Mikwick as well. I mean, the DE coming in and playing a map that arguably, I mean, it was played pretty often in combines, but not a lot of new DEs know a lot of ancient, So that means that he sat down and learned a lot, and as a caller as well, he has to guide his team to do so. We just couldn't hit the ground running fast enough. We cut a couple string of rounds, but it wasn't good enough. And they played a great game. I'll be honest with you. I mean, um, a UPS team, at least in preseason looks, if that is their final five, they played a fantastic game. I can't say the same in their match. So I would be interested to see, how they couldn't transfer it. But either way, I'm excited to see what they can do because it was
Yeah.
a good hit. Like Enders, like you were saying, it's good to kind of get a little sunker punched, especially in the preseason, to get you off your high horse. So then you're just a
Mhm.
better team going forward. I mean, I didn't think that we lost decisively, but if you look at the scoreline, we did, and I'm excited to see, or excited to break it down, I should say, and like really see how we lost because we lost, big difference. But
Yeah.
the match, the match we had a little bit of a villain arc on that one, 13-3 on
On
DRG on
Anubis.
Anubis,
Yep.
but wish them as well. I mean, I think they played it. I think who did they scrim against tonight? I don't remember. Did you guys
Who?
scrim DRG?
No. I don't know who's.
Did
DRG.
not.
That's
They
the
But we
old
scrimmed
can look
YC
at
Cal.
team.
the
It's the
schedule.
old YC
They
team.
they scrimmed Cal tonight. I
Oh.
don't know who ended
Yeah.
up winning that.
I think I do think in the scrim it was talked about. I think somebody said, Cal said you gave us a run for it at the end there, so I assume
I'm sure it was
Cal
probably a
won.
close game. I think Cal
Yeah.
definitely probably. I think Cal based on that comment won, but it seems like they weren't down. It's good to see when teams make a run at it. I think that DRG roster is just falling to the prey of having one keeper and drafting 4 players.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Oh,
difficult.
real quick, Pool Guy was just in fact cut by Wet.
Really
Oh.
Cool guy was.
Pool Guy was just cut by Wet.
interesting.
Dang.
That's insane. Like literally, like just now, huh?
That is
Yep.
interesting to say the least.
That is interesting for sure. I wonder where he's going to end up, or if maybe he just takes more of the admin role. I'm sure he wants to play, so it's interesting. Well, there it is. Live transaction going through.
Yeah.
through the
I'm
recording.
gonna keep my eye on transaction announcement just in case we see
I'm
something.
maybe there will be some other teams that make some decisions. But anyway, going forward, Dewey, how
Hello.
was your scrim and match tonight?
It's pretty good. We won both of them, so no complaints.
Who
Yeah.
did you guys scrim against?
We scrimmed against Wet,
Oh, okay,
and
I gotcha.
we
How was that?
won. I forget what the score line was, but we did beat them. And then we played against Nan, and we also beat them as well.
Okay, okay. What maps were those two, or if you want to share or not?
Nah, I think we played Nan on Vertigo, and then we played
Some very globals.
Wet on Nuke, I believe.
Interesting. I think
Take
that's
him to do. Yep.
yeah. I'm sure that must have felt good for Jeff. Taking them to Nuke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He likes Nuke, I think so.
Did he opt that game?
Yeah, he did. He's our opper.
Was Cool Guy on that wet lineup that you guys played against? Maybe that
I
went
think
to
he
why he
was.
was cut.
I think he was. Yeah, I don't know. From what I know about like the inner workings of Wet,
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't too surprised, but
Really?
yeah, I wasn't too surprised.
I say cutting your keeper pick is kind of interesting, especially going into preseason. So I guess that just
Yeah,
means
it is an interesting choice, and honestly, with the way the recruit is like shaping up right now, like is probably gonna find another spot pretty quickly,
yeah,
anyways.
for sure. And he's
If he
pretty
wants
cheap
one.
too.
Yeah.
So a nice little budget pick there.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other games do we have going on today? Let's see. The AP Cal game. I wonder.
Yeah. Does anyone?
Do
got
we
the
know anything about
update
that?
on
Nova seemed upset.
Synthronix was just signed to Wet.
Oh.
Synthronix just signed to Wet.
That's quick. That's quick.
What?
That's pretty fucking quick, huh?
Holy
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Right.
I think Wet was looking at Synthronix and
That seems almost like poaching, huh?
I can confirm unless it was talking to Ruby, I don't know shit of it.
Wow, that's like
That's a
literally
quick
11.
quick one.
That is insane. Well, I mean, props to him, I guess.
There were similar things that happened last season as well. I remember RPT got cut in prospect, and he was basically signed before the cut even went through, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's insane. Which just happened like 10 minutes after the other.
Oh, dude.
Well, see, teams are already making moves, it seems like. So I
Yep.
wonder,
Don't you love it?
especially picking up Synthrotics there, that means that there's another DE that still has to fight for his spot, or they're already planning on who they're going to cut next, which will be interesting.
Looking at this, Wet right now is Low Sealed, Dr. Fury, Go Line Core, Deity, Air Glow, and then of course now Synthronix. So
You
I
know
think
what
they're
game
gonna
I-
play. I think what happened is they saw Synth in the preseason,
Mm-hmm.
or not preseason, in combines. Really
combines.
liked him. Really liked him. Wanted to draft him, but obviously ATL, looking specifically for an IGL, just drafted who was on our board when we could. So I think they're gonna play Synth this next preseason. See how it goes.
Yeah,
Hope
for sure.
hope Synthronix lands there. He's a really fucking cool dude. Hope he lands on his feet, makes it. I do want to say to future, or not to future, but to DEs and new players this season watching this, do you want to say maybe don't say like easy for team during a match against a team who just won the chip, possibly. Let's avoid doing
Yeah.
that. Let's avoid giving Savannah of all teams a reason to go harder.
What?
What was being
What
said?
happened?
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I couldn't follow that for
I do
shit.
know Synth in our preseason match made because he has the Easy for Ents music track in Counter Strike. He did Easy for ATL in chat, and I just went immediately. I was like, don't do that, don't do that.
Oh wow.
In the scrim against Sav, and he's like,
love
I thought you
that.
were trying to tell me not to be toxic. I was like, I could care less if you're toxic to him, but let's not give Sav of all teams a reason to fight harder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well,
Sav
you know-
though is like an entirely new team.
I was gonna
besides
say
UK
it's a whole
guys.
new roster, ain't it? Who's
Yeah.
It
on
is,
Well,
but also
Cayman and UK are still there.
This
Cayman
game
and
is
UK
still there?
are also yeah, Cayman is.
Cayman is still there.
That's surprising.
And
Yeah.
like I said,
I thought you
Cayman's
said
gonna be
Prospect.
scary when he starts heat mapping teams. That's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think if there's any team that I'm officially scared of beyond the AVI is Sav, just because Cayman is there. UK is great, but like Cayman he's that dude for Sav.
Mhm.
He's gonna start heat mapping. He's gonna start throwing out specific util sets to get rid of certain players. Like Cayman is a god when it comes to figuring that shit out. And if we can avoid making them angry and avoid making them do that, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
All I will say about Synthronix, because we're talking about him, is I think it's a good spot for him to go to wet. Because you know in our match that we played against you guys, Enders, he just was nonstop yapping in that text chat. So you know at least it makes sense for him to go to wet.
Oof.
Oh my.
He's still my boy.
Yeesh.
He's still my boy.
No. All love. You know what team I am or what game I'm curious about? I think I know the answer, but I don't have a score line for it. But the Goshi and Deadbeats game. Pets hit him with the GG's DB at 1040, which seems like that was a
Probably
fairly
means
quick,
yeah.
fairly quick match
So-
on that one.
I mean, we do have the scores for a couple of matches. UPS lost 13-5 to Sav, and Wet lost 13-4 to Hell.
Yeah, and
That I do
DRG
know.
lost 13-3 against us, and then what was the match against ATL? Oh, all these games were kind of fairly one-sided.
Yeah, pretty
It's interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder if that
decisively,
means that
too.
a lot of
Except for
teams were
one.
probably testing out new lineups and stuff like that, and they just didn't see the performance that they got from the first night. But
I will say it wouldn't shock me if some of these teams like decide to play maps either they aren't going to play in the season or they have 5, they figured out their 5 come preseason match day 1, and now they're trying to get the
Mhm.
1 game minimum out for the players they're going to cut.
oh yes, yeah, for sure.
Remember,
Um,
if you're getting cut, you at least have to play 1 actual match, not the scrim, the actual match.
right.
Unless you no show and then they just can cut you anyways.
Yeah.
Correct.
If you
What
just
I
no
was-
show, but that's basically you've been kicked from the season, basically, right?
Well,
No,
it's not that you're
you
kicked
can-
from the
you're
season, but
supposed to be like a PFA after that, I think.
it's either that or it's also just like your name's gonna be told in like all the GM chat that you're a no show and you probably won't get picked up. The one team though that I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm gonna be honest. be interesting to see maybe with the cuts and stuff that happen. Maybe they can rebuild the team, but deadbeats, Dewey, with you leaving and then trading you away for Draco there, that leaves their team with 844 MMR out of a 1210 cap, which is just shy of 350 under cap, which is just insane. I mean, that's basically a mid-tier prospect player that could fit on that roster. So it's going to be interesting with all these lower budget players on there because they only have 5, right? They don't have 6. So technically speaking, they're playing with their final 5 unless they make any changes. So I would be intrigued to see if maybe they can, get one of these pickups and maybe one of their players can go to deadbeats. Do you
Well,
have
I will
anything to
say,
say about that, doing? I was gonna say I know you were there, so
I will say at least when I played with them, we played against Nan, and I mean this was obviously I'm not on the team anymore, but we did beat them. It was like 13-3, 13-4.
there you go. That's a good mental.
So I'll say like Rymaster, I think very underrated. He went all the way to finals one season.
Yeah.
He didn't perform as well in prospect as maybe people wanted, and now he's back in recruit, and he plays really well. Atrax plays extremely well. Like,
Oh yeah.
he's a pretty good mind for the game, I think. They have a good team, I think. And yeah, I think it's just gonna be like putting the pieces together. And I know Digital, he is very much this season was about like teaching people about the game and like getting coaching and how helping the team out a lot. So I imagine that some of that will go on. And with the trade that he made for me as well, he's set up pretty well for next season, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's probably I think they have a chance to, especially with I don't want to be rude, but some of the recruit pool is like not as impressive as previous seasons, and
Yeah.
I mean that's just how it is. That's just what the state of the recruit tier is right now. That they have a pretty good chance, especially
You
with
said
people
the other
like
thing.
Rymaster,
Yeah.
who has a lot of experience, and John has triggered has played for a few seasons. I don't know what they're planning on doing with him, and I think they can be at the very least a mid-tier team if they
Yeah,
maybe move some
definitely.
pieces around and put the work in.
I definitely think that they have, an opportunity to, and especially with this season, like with the play-ins, I think that's going to be phenomenal. So, I mean, like you could be, a bottom third team and still end up seeding in the playoffs, depending on your play-ins, So, like
Yeah.
anyone really has an opportunity, for sure. So that's why I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, Atrax being their highest MMR player at a 213 is pretty insane to me. So, I mean, they literally can get any player. And, I'm sure that there might be, well, maybe not so much, but maybe there could even be like a prospect player that drops out of prospect and, makes their way back down to recruit. And I would be interested to see if maybe Deadbeats makes some kind of move on that, having maybe more of a fragger.
With how shallow the FA pool is going to be this season, they're definitely it's at some point probably going to open it up to like PFA conversions, and I'm sure they'll be able to pick something up from there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely some PFAs on that list that would be interesting to see play.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't think they were too bad, but they were pretty strong actually. So
Yeah,
excited to see what they do this season.
absolutely. Let's see.
uh,
I think that basically
do
covers all the
we-
matches.
I do gotta ask. You obviously got traded before or around the start of combines. Once Deadbeats became an organization, you got traded there. You obviously would have had to have that cleared by you to get over there by T Noodle, correct? Like you had T Noodle trade me over there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so what was that like, not being traded just once, but being traded twice before the season has even started, really?
I mean, it's fine for me. I at first, because I saw that Digital was getting a new franchise, and I mean, I was pretty excited, so I reached out and I was like, I would be down if you wanted to trade for me, and I was aware that I think other people have tried to at least make offers for me, and Tino was like, he's my dog, so he was trying to keep me close. But I think because Digital offered me an AGM position as well, because I at least said I was interested in it. That Tino would kind of let me go from there, and was like, all right, I didn't want to, but I'm obviously not going to prevent you from being an AGM, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, it's been all right. Just as like an adjustment period. I mean, when I got traded to DB, there was like that was the only one there besides Digital and like Antonio Juanson. So you kind of get to like build everybody up, and that was fun. Like kind of seeing the draft go through and everything follow through. But I didn't get like any kind of culture shock, and I'm already pretty good friends with almost everybody on F4G. So I didn't feel like any kind of how would you say, yeah, like culture shock, or like I wasn't really that anxious. I was excited because I got to play with some of my buddies now. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see here. I'm excited to see as well. I mean, going into these the next matches coming up this Thursday, it's gonna be a quick turnaround for a lot of teams, and I think as we're already seeing now, teams are making some changes. So I think teams are gonna be a lot stronger going into this preseason match day 3, and then segue that into match day 1.
oh yeah, because teams who are trying to make changes are gonna have to make them quick.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult to try to make changes, like bigger changes. Leading into match day 1, 2, or 3. You kind of want to get those all handled the earlier that you can. I mean, with that being said, emergency happens. Sometimes maybe like someone was set up to play for the whole season, and I don't know, maybe match day 1 happens and they can't stand their team anymore. I mean, it happened last season. There was a couple players that just couldn't take being on that team anymore, and they asked to be cut. And and that player shifts to another team because they're still a good player. So it'd be interesting. It's always refreshing to see new faces on new teams.
I do think this season, we're going to see a lot of teams trying to compete with the AVIs and Frogs of this tier. I mean, not to say you both have built super teams because that's played out and overdone, but you guys both have very, very, very strong rosters around you. We can talk all day about AVI, but Frog now, they have where's Frog at? Frog now have Penguins, Dewey, Toast, Vaughn, and Slayer. I mean,
Yeah, which is a
using
great core.
using as much of that MMR cap as they can, and obviously we're seeing a lot of. I think the average is there's a bunch of people below the average MMR that's allowed. Like when you take into the math of like 100 to, excuse me, it's 289 is the max in
289 is the cap.
Yeah. So when you take that like average, there's a lot of people below more than most seasons. So the fact the MMR cap is wild now and has raised, I think we're going to see a lot of teams trading for higher, better, more players. I think we're going to see a lot of moves trying to compete with that.
Yeah,
I think we're
sure.
going to see a giant. We're going to see a lot more differential in terms of who are the top teams and who are the below average teams. So that's going to be weird.
I will say though, and I think this is kind of going to take what you were saying earlier, Dewey, but I think I see the season panning out to be, since we're in a 14 team season this time around, I think there will probably be maybe 4 to 5 teams that are cut from the path, kind of already established that they're on the road to make playoffs. They're just kind of fighting for seeding, right? But I mean, 5 out of 14 teams leaves 9 other teams who are fighting for it. And I think it's going to be a very close fight between, like, basically, I would say more of the majority of the teams that are probably battling, going even in the games. They win one, they lose one. win 2, lose 1, things like that. So I'm excited to see that battle between like seeding through like 6 through 10, like
Mhm.
seeing how those teams all play out. And I'm sure that it's going to be like a pretty roller coaster of a ride for all those teams because it's going to be a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, with everything. Obviously, we can speak as much as we want about the MR cap going up. We're seeing a lot of teams use as much that MR cap as they can. Like Frog, for instance, I think only has maybe 100 MR left over.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the
Maybe.
craziest part about that is 100 MMR is still pretty comfortable. So
Yeah, I mean, and also with Frog,
that's
I mean,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't see them making any changes. To be honest, that's a pretty solid core. And you joining that team is just gonna make it better. And I'm sure that proved itself in the games today. I think though there's a lot of teams out there that because of the way that the draft worked and the lack of players and things like that. There's a lot of teams out there that already have their core 5. Um, so they're able to just get all this practice and practice outside of server and just build up their chemistry and basically work with your final 5 from day one. Like I can tell you that us at AVI, we've taken advantage of that. I mean, basically having your 5 since draft day is pretty good. Because then you just get to iron out all the kinks way earlier than any other team. So, there's that as well.
Yeah. But like you look at teams that already have their 5, like Frog, AVI, Atlantis. Like those are gonna be the teams that you look at and they're like, okay, that's somebody. Abyss Walkers is another one that has their final 5. But like those are teams that come match day 1 are gonna have a slight gap compared to other teams in terms of just practice,
Mhm.
out of server, just like bonding, I guess. Because being able to vibe with everybody is kind of important. Like making sure you're all on the same page and you don't have one guy who's thinking this one thing compared to everybody else. Like you mesh together play style wise
Mhm.
that we're gonna see. I mean, sure, the FA pool is gonna be thin as fuck. We're gonna see some movement, I assume, because I think some people are gonna be trading for pieces to once again keep up. But we can run in circles around that all day. But
Yeah.
looking at these rosters, I mean, there's some teams that you're looking at like deadbeats who are just like, okay, you can sign a mid-tier premier player, but there's the high MR players that are good are already locked up and aren't leaving
Mhm.
because there's not a ton of teams right now that are over MR cap that are like the only team I've seen so far that's over MR cap with 6 players is Scurvy Sea Dogs, but even then they cut one player and they've got 90 MMR to spare.
Oh yeah.
Like plus, if they cut Triple Man, they've got like 100 and some odd MMR. They cut Renegade, they got 92.
Mhm.
So like it's that kind of look of what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Absolutely, because then they can, I'll get any player that they want if they maybe want to stack the roster a little bit. I definitely do think that it's just going to come down to what CSC does in terms of the FA situation. I mean, it's no secret. Like having, as of this moment, there's 2 recruit FAs. After first round of cuts, teams having to go down to 6, things like that. But like the season is not going to be a good one in terms of subs if or any mid-season like moves and things like that if we have 2 FAs.
Yeah.
So I think CSC will understand that. Like probably I think they'll make a difference once it becomes an issue. Which my guess is
I'm sure they're
probably,
aware of it already. And
yeah.
kinda
I'm sure it
have
will
it on their
probably be
docket.
around match days 2 or 3. Like I think
Mhm.
that they'll probably. I think what you said, Dewey, either opening PFAs to, if they want to transfer from a PFA to an FA, or you just open the gates of, maybe prospect FAs and things like that. The only thing that's an issue with opening to the tier above is like if there's just a clearly distinct better player in prospect, that's just cheap. It kind of throws away like the base of the game. I mean, like you're just gonna have a prospect player on the recruit team. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that could be an issue, but it's also like if that's what it has to do in order for it to make it fair for teams that actually have options, then that's the way that they have to do. I trust that. I'm sure they're cooking up something, like you said.
Yeah.
Dave.
I
Yeah,
think
I don't know if they would do that just because I feel like it kind of ruins maybe a little bit the
The
integrity of the tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll figure something out.
I think the main
Yeah.
thing right now is we saw a bunch of people get moved up late. Prodigy Toast got moved up as soon as returning players' numbers locked. In fact, I think after the numbers locked, apparently he got moved up. Sentinel is another one that got moved up. And the thing with those players is once they get moved up like that, if you move them back down, it's unfair.
Well, and it's also
'Cause-
not even that, but also like a lot of the players that moved up are now signed to their teams respectively in the new
Mhm.
division. Like Ethan is on the DRG prospect team. Sugma, who got moved up pretty late, is on AVI's prospect team. I think Sinbad also moved up. I think he's signed to a team. Like there's a bunch of players. Even technically Kev is technically signed on Frog's prospect team.
Yeah.
So it's like there's players that did move up late, but in terms of contract wise, they are signed. So it would be really difficult to be like, oh well, you can move back down if you get cut, but it's like I don't know. It's a very interesting and a slippery slope.
I think at that point, what would happen is you're going to see people get cut from like prospect teams to then get picked up by that tier's recruit team. Like Sentinel, if he got cut, like if he had the option to move down to recruit again, I don't see a world in which case DRG doesn't go, hey, look, we're going to cut you, but we want you to re-sign immediately.
Yeah.
And just move him down basically from prospect to recruit. I think the thing is, though, is sure, we didn't have as much people who joined as compared to the past couple of seasons.
Well,
but
I
also
wouldn't
at the
say
same
that it was
point, they've thinned out recruit tier so fucking much.
I will say I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt to the numbers team because it hasn't really been talked about too much, but going into the day before the draft, after draft eligibles had to get all their combines and face it games in, 30 recruit players were outside of the scope of the required games.
Mhm.
So it's not that they weren't planning to have more players than what they originally intended for. Thus the reason why the draft was so shoddy.
Yeah.
They intended for there to be probably estimate 20 more players cross over into the draft eligible stage, but there were 20 plus recruit tier players that didn't do their face it games, didn't do enough combines, things like that. And yeah, it's unfortunate, and but it's just kind of the way that it has to go, and you got to take it on the chin, and it's up to them to try and remedy the situation. And if they can't, then they can't. I mean, it's like the same thing with last season. We had the big shift of moving to CS2. What are you supposed to do? You just got to take it and you play the game to the best of your ability. So if teams out there, they can't make any moves because there's no FAs, well, then you got to work harder, and you have to, turn your players that you have into phenomenal players, which most of recruit can be. We all have the potential to grow. And it's just about which team out there wants to sit there and play as much as they can and learn everything they can about the game and develop as players.
Mhm.
So
Very well put.
No, you're not playing the heal as much as I thought you would.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm only gonna play the heal once it comes match days.
Fair enough. I'm giving you shit.
Once for regular season, the villain comes out.
Once again, y'all thought I was yapping. Just wait till Noah starts yapping. It's gonna be horrific.
Yeah, but see, I won't need to yap when they just look at my record. You know what I mean?
Yeah, AVI having
Look at my
3
stats,
prospect
baby.
players is crazy.
I don't know where we're getting 3 prospect players from, but okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I certainly
So-
did not
One
play like a
prospect
prospect player, dude.
Milky,
Anyway, what
my
else?
God.
What else did you?
how's stuff going over in Abyss Walkers?
Good. Yeah, she's been going pretty
be
good.
right back.
We made Rye our AGM, so
Yep.
Yes, congrats, Rye.
doing
Congrats.
AGM things. Congrats, Rye. She's obviously a player on the team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think every game we're looking like we're getting stronger, which is awesome. We were already pretty strong to begin with. Now our comms and our cohesion start to glue a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a really good season. I don't think we're making very many changes, at least to my knowledge. Like, there's no reason to make a change anyway. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the
Telecon comes out, he dropped like, fuck, he might have dropped like 18 kills today, and he's like 160
match-
MMR or something like that.
In the match, he dropped 13.
13, yeah, and he had a
Yep.
pretty good scrim as well. I mean, he got more
Yeah.
kills than I got that game, but like, I didn't. I
Yeah,
couldn't-
Milky, you did get 7.
I couldn't see you guys half the game, man. I'll be honest.
I think
My
the
team was just
only
rifling you guys down. Like, no time for me to even get a pick.
I think the only issue with ABY Jackson is I don't know if it's public knowledge yet, but you know there is a certain situation in terms of not having not having a full roster come through your first 3 match days.
There's some rumors out there that we might not have our full roster on the first 3 matches.
Those rumors are true. How do you know we can look
Hurry.
at it?
Who's missing the first 3 match days?
Somebody has a match day ban on his team.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got. Yeah, it's not just a match day. It's
3 match
it's
day.
3 match days.
How do you get a
Jesus.
3 match day ban?
Let's just say they were widowy a bad guy.
Yeah.
What kind of bad guy are we talking about?
I forget which rule violations it was, but
Oh.
it wasn't me. I didn't get banned, by the way.
I heard violations as in multiple. Oh no.
Yeah,
Yes,
there was
but,
2
you know-
rules. Yeah, there was 2 rules that were broken.
But even with that said, like
What the fuck
there's a-
happened to who this player is?
there's enough
We're not gonna leak
PFAs to-
anything. We're not gonna leak
Yeah.
anything. But yeah, we're honestly not worried about it. We've talked with them about it, and
as long
Yeah.
as they're
You're gonna have
reformed.
to tell me what ended up happening with that later.
We'll talk about it off stream. We'll talk about it off
As,
cam.
as long as they're
I think I know
reformed
who it
going
is.
forward,
I
that's
do
what
think I know
matters.
who it is though.
yeah, but we're not worried. Like I said, we're not worried about it. We're putting on
Like
a
a-
master. We put on a master class overpass, in my opinion.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Oh yeah, well we took ATL and gave him 2 rounds of the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Started on T side the first on the first half too. So like.
Oh no, I
Say
did.
that.
so-
I'm not saying I did great, but like I did fucking half decent that match considering.
Yeah, I think we
What was
lost pistol
there,
round, and then we force bought, and then beat you guys. You force bought, beat us, and then you guys didn't get a round after that.
Yikes.
Was Dewey, can't say that.
So
Was there anything else that you think
anybody want to talk about? I mean, I could say that I finally got my revenge game against Sav.
Did we talk about the Hellfire team?
Did you,
at
did you
all?
lose that?
No, we won 13-8 in the scrim today.
You
Is there
beat
Hellfire team? What's the Hellfire team?
I was just curious. Like, did we talk about the Hellfire? They got Brass. They got Sapphire. I wonder how they're doing.
I was just saying, but they
Brass
did
is
win
chill.
tonight.
Brass is chill.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
excited to
we know
see.
Brass.
I'm excited
We
to
know-
see
we know
who.
Doc 6 is chill, but I mean, how are their games going?
I mean, they won against Wet 13-4.
Mhm.
Okay.
So there's that. I don't know
Okay.
who their scrim was. I can check. Looks like their scrim tonight. Oh, they cleared it. That's great. So I can't see.
Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
that works.
they're-
That works.
Their first game was against AP for Preseason 1, which more than likely was probably leaning in their direction, if I had to guess.
Hells are at APs.
He's looking pretty decent.
In Hell. I feel like
I
Hell
think AP
probably
is
is
kind
too.
of sleeper.
You think so, dude?
I mean, actually,
they-
there's an
what's
easy way to
happening,
figure out who they played.
Lance
a
on
very
their
easy
team,
way to
that's-
figure out who
he's
played.
like a- Okay, figure it out. buddy.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
No. You seem to have something to say, so you go say it.
No, I can't because they didn't fucking put GGs in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I
How
was
dare
gonna
you not
say,
put GGs?
Well, I thought it was a little bit weird that people were saying GG's after the scrim, so I did
Scrim,
it as
yeah.
a joke. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
if we're getting the GGs
Yeah,
and the
GS
scrims.
baby.
No, because scrims are basically just preseason matches. You basically have
Well-
2 preseason matches.
I mean, with
Not
that being
really.
said,
Yeah,
you
pretty
know,
much.
it's nice to see. You know, we're talking. You know, everyone's chatting it up.
Yeah, I can't wait till we do the first power rankings though, so we can screenshot it and
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here's some
It'd end
fun
up real
fact.
bad.
I've been cooking
hilarious it is, dude.
new
I
This entire
graphics.
played one game.
Oh, you cooking up new graphics?
Yeah,
Can
eventually.
we get a new sneak peek and setup, just not on screen?
No, because I haven't finished them.
I don't care. It's a sneak peek for a fucking
No, when I
reason.
say I haven't finished them, I mean I haven't like really started. I just have the idea in my head and I have it sketched out somewhere.
Oh my God, Clancy.
But they are
Oh,
coming.
what I was gonna say,
They will be in
what's,
time for match day 1. It'll be all brand
what's
new
our,
animations and everything because I figured out how to use Adobe products.
What's our time looking like?
Our
It's looking like we
time
got maybe 20 minutes left.
Yeah,
So we don't have to-
we are at
don't have-
26 minutes. We don't have
don't
to push
have
it
to
to an
go for
hour if
20
we
minutes. We
don't
don't
have
have to
anything
cook.
else
I
to
feel
talk
like
about.
We don't have to cook. There's not much to talk about except
There's new
good luck
graphics.
to everybody.
Yeah.
There's new graphics coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
They
man,
are
good luck
coming.
in all in the games on Thursday.
We
Good
honestly
luck.
could have brought in another guest, but we specifically asked to be the first one on, so
So
Well, I
Noah,
think-
No, I didn't. What are you talking?
you asked
shit,
you
dude.
asked to be the next you asked to be the next one on.
that's so weird that you
And
want to make
then-
him look like that, dude. You
I
asked
really
him.
just
No.
wanted to hang out with Milky because I don't hang out with Milky anymore. So
Well, you know what I think
Yeah,
that we can do.
it's
I
true.
think
Sad
going
times. I think about
into
you a lot.
Thursday.
oh wait,
think
we have to
there's-
be ops. You remember? You have to be my op.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all love until we step on the battlefield.
I think Jesus Jackson.
Arr,
I think
arr,
Or
I
can we
think
ban 'em?
Thursday's match, after preseason, we definitely we come again and we get two guests, and because then we can really sit down and talk about it because they're going to need to cut till their final 5, and we can kind of like actually look at rosters going into match day. You know,
Yep, I
Yeah,
agree.
you guys
Yeah,
should
so,
start reaching out to like the newer recruit players and
I do think
Yeah.
I think we're getting a Goshi. I don't know
Yep.
who it is.
We're
We're
getting
gonna
them
get a
on this
Goshi.
season.
get my dog
Maybe-
Pets. I love Pets.
Maybe Pets or Luke. I feel like one of them would jump
Luke would
on
be a
for
good
sure.
one. I like Luke a lot.
Yep.
And
I do know
maybe
do
a
know
wet
Luke.
guy.
I'm pretty sure Luke wanted to be on, but we'd already had that filled.
Well, let's get Luke and maybe a wet.
Yep.
You know, so they can speak.
Yep.
Speak away from all the
We need to
taunting they
get
get.
Bort. We need to get Bort on here.
Yeah, this is gonna be
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
GM.
Alberto in the film room.
Dude, I
boys.
love Borat. He's so cool.
Yeah.
I said we could probably definitely get Seal. To be honest with you, I mean, you know, with the relationship that.
Yeah, you
Fancy
could
and I
definitely
have.
Get Lucio. Lucio's good.
All right, let's plan for that. I mean, to be honest, I think we just do closing and that's that. Unless
Yeah,
you guys have anything
very,
else to say.
very, very short episode. ATL. That's my final statement.
Yeah.
I
Holy
think
shit,
you
I
guys
might
are
be
gonna be fine. Like, you know, you as long as you have a roster that can play consistently, you have a chance. So don't worry.
Yeah,
about it.
no. It's not even like a worry. It's just like ATL.
What about it?
Just
He's just
that's it.
saying it.
All right.
All
It's a
right,
bit of a power move. I think I respect it.
absolutely.
Cool.
Well, boys, I mean, I don't have anything for me other than good luck in the games Thursday. Look forward to seeing what
Can't wait
all
to bump
happens.
You and Clancy. It'll be nice.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen, but you can keep dreaming.
We'll see.
Yeah. You'll basically have your 5 there, won't you?
Almost like we've had our 5 the whole time, Jackson.
They only have 5.
But I mean, are you really are you keeping Sweeper around? Is my question.
I love Sweeper.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess the answer is that.
I guess that answers that.
Guess we'll just see who the better team is then.
I guess we will.
Yeah.
All right. Dewey, anything
I'm
you
not
gotta
even
say?
worried. Heard you guys lost to UPS, so it's like this.
Yeah, that actually like I don't want to be that guy, but I
Like,
literally
that's-
played
Dude.
against them on Ancient and we
I'm
beat them
almost-
like pretty
like, I'm a-
handily.
I mean,
Like,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
beat you, and like I'm gonna let the memes fly. I got about 6 of
I
them
mean,
saved up here.
you can let them go. I mean, listen, the more that you
And I got
talk,
an epic ace on them.
the more that it feeds. And
Yeah.
like I said, Cash Money literally just had a life game. Like I'm not gonna
He's good. Like he's not bad. I don't understand
I
why you're
know.
trashing on Cash.
I'm not trashing on him. I'm saying he had a life game. Like it was like literally the best game I've
This
ever
Like,
is
seen.
a
people
standard
saying-
Cash game. Like he
It's
just
like
plays
people
that.
saying Colty had a life game last season. The
He didn't play very well last season. I thought.
Oh
he
my
had
God.
one-
I think
he had
s-
a
I
cow-
think
he had
when-
a cow game where he did
Yeah.
pretty well.
I'm just saying that
the cow
I
ate
should-
It's a
game.
cow game, dude. Come on.
Like, to be fair,
Exactly.
to be fair, we had Sentinel on, and Sentinel legitimately was like, yeah, they only won because Colty had a life game, and then
well, I'm not
you
saying
know-
that's the only reason they won. I'm just saying that that Cash had a really good game, and then because he had a really good game, so does other players. You know, so like, and I'm not downplaying their W because they got the W. So I'm not gonna take it away from them.
yeah,
They're fucking shit. Like
last check for transactions before we leave out of here. Nothing.
Yep,
So I think that's
gonna
it.
be that, yeah. I'll try to draft up the new graphics, or at least pre-animation graphics, because there are gonna be animations in there, like animated transitions. It's this whole big
Man,
thing,
we're
and I have
really
it
trying
all
to
in my
make it look
head.
good, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna put effort into it because I figured out how to use Adobe. Figured out how to
Man.
use Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I use Sony Vegas.
Sony
I
Vegas is too
use
confusing
Vegas
for me,
Pro.
dude. I don't know.
All right,
Yeah, I
guys.
just
Well,
like that I can
yeah.
drag and drop shit in there.
Yeah, well, I guess it's
I think that
fucking
cuts it.
bedtime.
Yep.
I mean, and really, yeah, I guess a couple preseasons doesn't mean much. Can't wait for the first round power rankings though. But ABW
First
ranked
match day
at
power
fucking
ranking.
top.
Clancy and I are gonna be like, put AVI at the top, put him up
Yeah,
there.
and I'm gonna
No,
be
no, no.
like, yeah, what about the
Okay. I
preseason
had
match
a
that we
thought
beat
while
you
at
in?
work,
They're gonna be like,
where you know how real power rankings work, where they do it sort of like a mathematical equation, dude. I had
You
that.
think we're
idea at
doing math
work.
on this bitch?
I'll do it. I'm smarter.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're doing it like we did last season, by vote,
Hold
by
on.
everybody looking at it. That's what's funny about it, because we're not the power rankings committee. Fuck
Oh,
that.
There's a power rankings committee.
Yeah.
apparently,
Yes.
yes,
And Clancy, you forgot
fuck?
when we started this, we said none of us should ever be on power rankings committee.
All right.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, boys.
Hey, new
and
graphics
girls,
eventually coming soon.
see
TM.
you guys. See you guys later.
ladies with gentle hands. W's in the shaft.
And men with gentle hams.
Ribbon.
Goodbye,
And,
you bitches.
Have a good night, you guys.
Peace out.
Bye.